Here at Nationwide Arena tonight, the Blue Jackets will take on the Carolina Hurricanes. This is another morning skate edition of the Inside Edge. I'm Bob McElligott alongside of Jody Shelley. Jody's second meeting of the year between these two teams, but kind of a different perspective this time around because the Carolina Hurricanes are red hot. They have won 5 games in a row. That includes a victory over the Toronto Maple Leafs last night. So they're coming in here looking to extend that winning streak.
Yeah, it's incredible, really. From the last time we saw them, they were a team that really hadn't found their identity, and here they are coming off a big win, like you said last night, and 5 in a row. Pretty incredible. They're now 5 points ahead of the Blue Jackets in the standings, and they're a team that's been solid at home, solid on the road. 10-8-5 at home, 9-8-4 on the road, and they're a team that's got some players that can do a lot of damage at any time. That were kind of underachieving throughout the beginning of the year, and they've got some familiar faces in Manny Malhotra and Ron Hainsey. So, and one of the hottest young guys in the league. I mean, I say young guys now; it's probably his 3rd year in the league. But Jeff Skinner is on fire with points, and should be a fun game to watch and a big challenge here for the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight.
I can't help but laugh as we're doing this. I'm watching goaltender Justin Peters take pucks and shoot them into the net. There's just something that seems so wrong about a goalie putting the puck into the net, but I would imagine most of them are frustrated forward somewhere inside themselves.
Well, yeah, you would know. Your son's a goalie, and so probably you don't want to see him shoot his pucks in the net, obviously. But yeah, I'd say somewhere everybody wants to put a puck in the net once in a while.
Yeah, every goalie's got a great shootout move if you just gave them an opportunity, I'm sure. The Blue Jackets coming into this game tonight, good news, bad news. Good news, Matt Calvert is back in the lineup. Bad news, Blake Como suffers an injury yesterday in practice. He could be out 4 to 6 weeks. This has been the theme all year long, and I know that other teams have dealt with it. The Hurricanes have dealt with it, too. They're in the situation right now. A guy comes back, somebody else leaves. There just hasn't been consistency.
Well, and it's tough because this one happened yesterday in practice. Blake Como is in a competitive drill. He goes to give Jack Johnson a pretty good rub out, and his knee looked like it hit the boards, and he's out. And it's one of those days where there was a lot of jump in practice yesterday, and I felt that it was there because Calvert's coming back. You got Horton back last week. Guys are coming back. There's excitement about being home. It was a nice full 4 lines there yesterday, and here Como gets hurt in practice. But here's what. The Blue Jackets know how to deal with this by now. So it's a tough thing when you have injuries all the time, but it's even tougher when you're not used to it. So it should be pretty seamless here with Ryan Craig, who's got more air miles, or I don't know if he just goes up and down in an elevator or how it works for him. But he's here again and probably filling in tonight.
Up and down in an elevator. I love that. But that's exactly what Todd Richards said, though. He said it's frustrating, but it's getting easier to deal with because this is exactly what he has done all year long. I want to ask you about Nathan Horton. He played great in Phoenix. He played well in St. Louis. He played well in New York, not taking anything away from those games. But you could see with those 3 games in a quick amount of time, he's not quite yet in game shape. I would imagine the practices this week would help him in that regard.
Well, yeah, and he would be the first to admit it. I mean, he's the guy that came into Phoenix, and I mean, that couldn't have been that story had to be written. If it had to be written in July when he signed, they would have asked for that to happen, score the game-winning goal on the road, and have an impact on the game the way he did. His timing looked unbelievable. It was just perfect. And then you go down the road to St. Louis, and we spoke of this in our radio show the other day, the Inside Edge. It was a tough game, and it's a different team. You're playing the St. Louis Blues, large, fast, heavy players. They don't give you anything, and you really have to work for every inch of ice, especially when you're Nathan Horton and the guy that the team is going to focus on. So he was playing against top D, top forwards, shutdown forwards, and he really had to work for his ice. And I think his comment was after the game, was, my legs were burning. So he's realistic. I mean, he knows where he's at. He knows where he wants to be. And he hasn't had a training camp. He hasn't had time to recover. He hasn't had a lot of different things. So you brought up a great point. Practice this week and a little rest will go a long way for Nathan Horton.
You talked about Jeff Skinner. He's been hot all year. He had 2 goals against the Blue Jackets in that December 23rd game down in Raleigh. That day, when we did the morning skate edition of the Inside Edge, we had Chuck Caton, who's the radio voice of the Hurricanes, on, and I asked him about Jordan Staal, if they have ever seen the player they thought they were getting from Pittsburgh in the trade. And he basically said, well, not quite yet. However, Eric Staal is out of the lineup right now. It is up to Jordan to step up He did that last night. He had a shorthanded goal. He had 3 assists. And when this guy gets in a groove, and we've seen it before in the league, when he gets hot, he can be really hot.
Well, and he's one of the best guys in shorthanded situations. He's big. He's almost like an Anisimov. He seems a little more bullish, but he's like an Anisimov because he's quicker than guys think. If you got a big guy coming at you, you think you have that extra second, but with these guys, you don't. And he can shut down that time and space a lot quicker than players realize. And then he's smart with his big stick, and he's strong on his stick. So those things put together make him a real threat shorthanded. Now, he's a guy that, yeah, they've waited for him, but let's look at Jordan Staal. He's been in the playoffs with the Pittsburgh Penguins a number of years. He's a second-half guy, and you'll see a lot of these guys resurge or come to the surface in the second half. It's not a knock on them. I think it's just a part of settling in, finding your way. Yeah, they want to play their best every night, but some players just click in the second half because guess what? Those playoffs that start in April, you can see that door starting to open a little bit, and you can see playoff pitchers kind of sorting their ways. So I think for a guy like that, his ears are starting to perk up, and that's why you're getting 4-point nights out of that guy.
I think you're right. Please tell Justin Peters this is not squirts anymore. He's not going to skate out. Quit shooting this puck in the net right in front of me. Drive me crazy here this morning.
Who that guy is?
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to make noise while we're interviewing him.
And he's doing a good job of that, I do believe. Tonight's game gets underway at 7 o'clock here at Nationwide Arena, and the gates will open at 6 o'clock tonight. Jody and I will be on the Blue Jackets radio network for the game this evening, so we hope to have you right there with us. That's going to do it for the morning skate edition of the Inside Edge. For Jody, Shelley, I'm Bob McElligott.